three blocks is Ganduje referring to? The Magnus Abe block,
yes.
The Tony Okocha block, and the is it Emeka Beke's which of the block now? Who is
possibly? You've not mentioned former Governor Mechi.
Well, they said he's no longer playing politics. That's why just carefully they want to talk about him.
Well, he may not be playing politics because his influence can never be underemphasized.
Okay, let's say, the Amechi block. Yeah. Let's assume this is a three block. But at what point did the Magnus Abe now still have a block in APC, if you may? Because clearly, during the elections, he was an SDP member. So help us make all the sense there is in this particular
Well, the truth of the matter is that for the Nigerian ruling class, political parties are mere vehicles to power. They have no particular attachment to political parties, and there are no ideological underpinning forces or interests aligning them to a party. Party is just a vehicle, no more, no less. And therefore, for political convenience and to access political power, and more importantly, to reap the benefit of power, they jump from political party to political party. In advanced and more stable democracies, it is a sacrilege. It is an anathema for a person to move from one party to the other. In fact, people belong to political parties because of their innate convictions, driven by fundamental and historical ideological underpinnings. In fact, ideology is the fulcrum, the basis, the philosophy, the basis upon which a particular group of people identify themselves with a particular political party. What is an ideology? Ideology, simply put, is a system of ideas, highly articulated and internalized, and which form the basis of changing society. So a man who is a Democrat in the US and a man who is Republican, both of them believe in democracy. Okay. But the issue is that the Democrat has a way, he believes that we should attain the societal organization.
Yep.
We should attain political organization. We should arrive at the comfort. We should arrive at development and advancement of human civilization, given this path. We have to be liberal. We have to be more accommodating. Man is a focal point of our being. And to do this, we can make all manner of compromises and adjustments if only it's in the interest of man.
Okay.
Some other person is a Republican and said, no, there is a limit to which we can adjust. For instance, God tells us this. This is the position, the Christian position of things. So it is just a mental construct. That is what you don't see here. The issue is how do I access political party and how do I reap the benefits of power in the form of contracts, the form of fast salaries. So the fact that you saw a particular politician contest election under one political party does not mean that he cannot alter or change from the other to the other political party if his ambition is not achieved. Or even when his ambition is achieved, he can move from one political party to another. It has happened here severally. So the fact that Magnus Abe contested the election under one political platform does not mean he does not have an enduring interest in another political platform. Very, very possible. And he's not an exception.
So he's still a member of the APC, clearly, because these are his people.
Exactly. Very much. Look at how it happens. You just, what some of them do, it's just that they get the membership card of all the parties. Anyone they are convenient with at a point, they'll flash the card, and progress to do business. When they are not confident, all they can do is just to say they have resigned from one to the other. That is if actually they resign. The resignation may just be by the proclamation of them out. But whether they have sympathy, whether they have followership, whether they have interest, whether they have one form of investment in all these political formations, of course they do. So Magnus Abe is not an exception.
All right, that's interesting. Now, but let's talk about Ganduje. Ganduje said that he's warning the PDP that APC will take over Rivers State. To a lot of political pundits, this is not a surprise. But to several others who may be reading the body language of the former governor of Rivers State, because he's the leader of PDP in Rivers State, as a matter of fact. However, a few days ago, last week, the list of the APC national leadership for the campaign for the governorship elections emerged, and at least for the one for Bayelsa, his name was one of the delegates for the APC. Now, a few hours after that news broke, the APC came out to say, oh, we're withdrawing that list is no longer authentic. Up to now, we don't know what has become of that. He is serving under the APC government, under the APC administration. The question now is, so he's driving the APC ideology, not the PDP ideology, because this is renewed hope. Yeah. This is not the articles or the PDP presidential campaign ideology, if you may. So now that all of this is here, if he said Ganduje and then came out to say that there is no rush in having him in the party and all of that, but Ganduje is now making a categorical statement. We are going to be taking over a PDP in Rivers State. He's warning the PDP that they're going to take over Rivers State. What do you make of all of this?
First and foremost, let me clear it. The fact that former governor is serving in an APC government, to me, is not an issue. Politically, it's not an issue. You see, in fact, it's wisdom that the President of the Federal Republic should spread his ministers across political parties for political accommodation, for political inclusivity, and for people to bring ideas to come. So any person who is available can work. However, when Ganduje says we are going to take over Rivers State, just as you said, it's not a surprise to some of us. Because what does it take cost to take over the state? All it talks to take over the state is for people, just as I said before, to migrate from one political platform in convenience to the other. And once they migrate to the political platform, they use the machineries of the state to facilitate an electoral process when the time is due. And here, victory, boom, there is victory for the party. So, given the way it's playing out now, everybody should expect that, because the idea now is that we need to link up to the center. Remember when the former governor of Ebonyi State and some other people joined the APC, they said they want to link up to the center so that they can enjoy the benefits that come with the center. And they did. So if somebody is already serving with the APC government at the center and the leader of the political party in the state, and of course the idea is link up to the center for political security, for political continuity, to reap the benefits that come with power, definitely handing over the state or aligning the state to the APC and then contesting the election under the APC and facilitating victory, given the instrumentality of the state under APC, is going to be a walkover.
Okay.
Given the prevailing political philosophy and predominant idea of the Nigerian ruling class. So Ganduje doesn't need to send a warning to anybody. Everybody who is a member of the PDP in this climb should now be getting ready, should now be preparing himself not to be left behind. You should read the handwriting on the wall and begin to make the necessary adjustments so that not when it strikes, it becomes surprising to you. But it will shock you that when a group of people will leave for APC, some other people who were formerly in APC will return to take over PDP. So you just see a change of pattern and a change of position between Group A and B. After all, everybody was in one political formation before. Some people broke to another political formation, went to the center, enjoyed the benefit, attempted to take power at the state. It failed serially. Therefore, don't be surprised that when some people move out of the PDP house, some other people will pack into the same house, and then they will just mainly the same position. The most important thing is that they're in power.
Or they're in the party. But there's something, let's go back to the first part of the conversation. Ganduje said he has 3 blocks of the APC together. Yeah. Now, he's now set to take over the PDP in Rivers State. That's very ominous, but maybe not as ominous as a lot of people who already suspected that this was going to happen, like you already elucidated. However, in his attempt to take over, have the 3 blocks together and take over PDP in Rivers State, as per the warning. So are we then looking at a situation where the former governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi, and the former governor of Rivers State, Jason Wike, after all the upheavals, will now come together, the likes of Sir Peter Odili, the likes of Sir Celestino Mejia, the likes of Sir Right Honorable Austin Okpara, and Dr. Biese, and all of these people will now come together and become, now, are they going to become APC or PDP?
The truth is that there is no quarrel or disagreement among them. Have they ever disagreed?
Between Amechi and Jason Wike?
There is absolutely no disagreement. The only thing is that every business has its rules and code of conduct. What we see as disagreement among the ruling class is how their business is done by the standards they have set for themselves. It's just how they do their business.
Explain that, please.
That when they throw words at each other, when they call each other names, even when they call the other thief, when they try to charge the other person to court, when they even fight on election day, it is just the method of it is the standard practice of their political business. It's not as if they have issues, because as at the time these men are doing all these things, all the elements involved are in power. They're enjoying the benefit of power. They meet in they hold meetings and they meet. And entitlements due to each other, including those who have pension. Have you seen any governor come to say that he's fighting with a former governor or that is having issues with them, that his entitlement are not being paid for those who are taking pensions from their states? They have never heard them go to the point of people's entitlements or allowances are not being paid. They are still being giving them their due entitlement. So it is the ordinary man who is by the local, who is living in the villages and on the streets that go about hitting themselves, breaking their heads, sharing their own blood, bleeding themselves and breaking heads. There is nothing difficult for them to come together. If only coming together, they will have victory. If only coming together, they will attempt the status of being in power and reaping the benefit of power. And by the way, if the blocks are coming together, of course they will be infighting, or just the way I said, the way they do their business, they will be infighting and scuffles within and among themselves internally. Definitely any person who is not well-grounded or strong will be pushed aside, and then the other people will be prominent. But that does not mean the person will not be carried along when they come to share the benefits of power. So it is only this mode, this method they employ, is the only way they remain relevant. Their business is a business they are doing, and that is how it is done.
All right. What does the Amechi silence, Scorpio silence, what does it mean for all of the unfolding? We have never seen him congratulate the president of Nigeria at his emergence, or even as a president. We didn't see him congratulate Ganduje when he emerged also as the party national chairman. He has not been seen anywhere doing anything that looks like the APC, or even politics, if you may. So how do you describe this silence if you're talking about 3 blocks that he happens to be one of the blocks?
Well, the silence of Amechi to me is wisdom.
Okay.
Remember where we are coming from 2015. Remember the struggle in 2015. Eventually, they joined APC, eventually became a minister. The struggle, the scandals, the quarrels before he became a minister. Remember the struggle in 2019. Remember contesting the primaries and everything. If I were him, the best thing to do at this point in time in my political journey is to be quiet, to sit down and watch. But that does not suggest that he doesn't have interest in politics. That does not suggest that he doesn't have followers or he doesn't have structures in politics. But he may not be very comfortable with a lot of things. For instance, those of them who contested that primary, some of them are not very comfortable with the outcome. Some of them had interests that didn't mature exactly the way they wanted it. Mm-hmm. Of course, at the level of the state, you saw how things panned out, and you saw the complaint and the press statements he gave before, during the elections. So, with all these issues, with the matter in the tribunal, it is time to do some internal self-keeping, introspecting, retreat, and examination. Okay. But everybody who knows him very well knows that it's like a lion targeting a game, sitting quietly somewhere to lay an ambush. And I guarantee you, with an ideal time, he's too young to say he has retired entirely from politics. And he has no impediment. He has the capacity. He has the strength. So he will launch out. It's a matter of the appropriate time to launch out. And he will launch out. All right.
So you totally applaud this silence.
Exactly. If that is the ideal and the most appropriate thing to do at this moment. Mm-hmm. By the way, we are joining issue with who? Who are you joining issues with? And if you look at his status well, most of the people, some of the evolving issues, these are not people you can join issues with by virtue of his age, by virtue of his political attainment, and the virtue of the successes he has gotten in life. And therefore, if you have to be very careful so that you don't get yourself insulted. So the ideal thing is to be quiet for a time, wait for the appropriate time and launch.